Hey, this is Defis. I make things for you to put into your tabletop role-playing games, and today is another NPC video. I'm going to make an NPC that you could put anywhere, really, into your tabletop role-playing games world. And today I was thinking of making a traveling jester that has maybe like lost their playing troupe. So I'm thinking name like Mina, she, her, and then the role again would be like traveling jester, so like a bard. And so for species, you could think in terms of like making a bard, ignoring the whole Tasha's rule of changing which stats get the species boost, and you could say like tiefling, because that charisma boost. But I don't really want to think in terms of that. I just want to think in terms of like what could like sort of spice up the identity of a jester. You know, someone who's gonna like dance around a lot, like be flexible, tell jokes, be funny. And so I'm thinking a changeling. So like with the changeling, it could really just like build on top of a whole like physical comedy, and so that's the whole like thought process behind that. And so for languages, we'll just say like common and elvish. So we'll say common, we'll say elvish, and just leave it at that. As for challenge rating and level, my thought process behind this traveling jester that has lost their troop is that like they'll likely ask the party for help. Like I'm thinking the party meets them as they're traveling, so like the party can't just like, they could walk along, but it's like if they walk along, there's nowhere really for Mina to go to. So I'm thinking this is someone that they meet, and someone who like if they say yes, if they're like they want to be like helpful, want to be like the good guys, they're like, all right, you could tag along with us for a little while until we like get you somewhere safe, or we find your troop. And so I'm thinking this is someone who like would not be helpful in combat, so like maybe like a level 1 or 2, but then like they're useful outside of combat because you know they're changeling. They pretty much have like built-in disguise self, and also like they're jester, they're flexible and everything, and they could like sort of like fill in if the party doesn't have a rogue. And then also like they're a performer. You know, they're like a bard, so they'd have a really good charisma skills that like the party can so then the party can have Mina maybe like help out in a situation. Maybe like the party they find Mina alongside the road, and she's like, my circus troupe has left me behind. Can you help me find them? And the party's like, sure, tag along. And so as the party's traveling now with Mina like tagging along, they can like maybe run into Hobbit style 3 trolls that they have to get past. And so they can have they could say, Mina, go out and distract them while we slip by and like set up a trap to like knock them prone or something. You know, just like not having the NPC overpower them, having the NPC sort of be like a little like extension on what the players can do. And so that's sort of like what this setup gives to your players. And then, you know, just some like simple information now that you have like what they like can do, you know, like how and why they do it. So we'll say where to find them, alongside the road out in the wilderness. And what do they want? They want to find their circus troupe. And then what do they have? Again, they have bard and rogue skills, innate disguise self. And then just the backstory and traits. For traits, since you know they're a jester, they're part of a circus. We'll say they're prone to tell jokes. You know, very upbeat. But then also, since like they're part of a troupe, they're part of like a big group and entourage, and they're never really like on their own. We'll say like they panic when they're alone. You know, like they're so used to having like other people around them. When they're alone, they really feel alone. They really feel isolated. You know, so maybe if your players were like, all right, you distract these trolls so we could get past and sneak attack them. Maybe you roleplay Mia having some reservations about that because she really doesn't like being alone, and then maybe like your party has to like roll against her. You know, like win against her in persuasion. And so then for backstory, she was let's say she was born into a small noble family and ran away to join the circus, and like that's it. Like period. Like that's all you really need. Like you could say, like just say like, oh yeah, she's part of the XYZ noble family. You know, just you could really just sort of like slip this character into any nook in your world. Like say like you just have this noble family, and then you can say, oh yeah, they're related to this noble family, and that noble family's daughter ran away, joined the circus, and this is her. And so it really like gives you an opportunity to like bloom out and just like sort of like bloom and cultivate like that seed you plant if the players like this character, and if they don't, you could just like forget it. You know, if the players latch onto it, it's an opportunity to like develop your world, grow your world, and go into a new direction that you may not have thought of before. And if your players don't latch onto it, you can just say, okay, moving on to the next area. You know, just moving on in the main quest. It's leaving not necessarily side quests in the world, but an opportunity to have a side quest, and that maybe even may like affect the main quest, the main story. Like tabletop role-playing games and D&D and just things like that are very fluid. They're not very rigid. You could really just do whatever because everyone's thinking of it differently. It's very much theater of the mind. You know, there's no tiefling like actually sitting at the table. It's all theater of the mind. Everybody thinks of it differently, and so there's no real way you can enforce a brick solid structure. And so like with this, it's just like really throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And a really effective way to do that is to have NPCs like this, where it's just like something small that you could throw in but tie into something else, and if the players like it, you could just sort of like follow that path down the tree to the roots. So yeah, see ya.